4, 10 through 15. He makes springs pour water into the ravines. It flows between the mountains. They give water to all the beasts of the field. The wild donkeys quench their thirst. The birds of the sky nest by the waters. They sing among the branches. He waters the mountains from his upper chamber, and the land is satisfied by the fruit of his work. He makes grass grow for the cattle and plants for the people to cultivate, bringing forth food from the earth, wine that gladdens human hearts, oil to make their faces shine, and bread that sustains their hearts. The code of hospitality, with God as your host, you as the guest, the Jews as the guest. This is the provision. So as you know, these scriptures, when we read the scriptures, they're on several levels, right? So even as we see God being presented as the host in this code of hospitality, and Israel is the alienated traveler in the world but not belonging, nobody liked the Jews. Misplaced, needing fellowship, and provision, we know that it's a pattern for our own behavior to follow. Because the next thing we see is Israel is the host. Even like we talked before, he gives us the scripture, it's in the natural, it's in the spiritual. It has a natural connotation, it has a spiritual connotation. It has a prophetic connotation, natural and spiritual, and then end time. Same thing with this. Israel is shown as the host next. And it's to be expected. Because we see how God is, and now we're supposed to imitate. We're supposed to do, Jesus said, I do what the Father did. So we're supposed to see what God did, code of hospitality, and how he treated people, and we're to do the same. So now we see Israel as the host. We are supposed to be doers of the word, not just hearers, right? We have to be doers of the word. As a host, they were supposed to treat human life with respect and dignity. I've been studying Darwin this last couple months. It's one of the main things that he did was he removed respect and dignity from human race. Because now we just come from a law instead of from a divine creator. Hospitality is an act of righteousness and godly behavior. We saw this in Lot. No matter what was happening in the city, Lot protected and provided for those two men who turned out to be angels. And they could have taken care of themselves. They didn't need Lot to do it. But it was a requirement. It was a code of ethics. I doubt if he did it grudgingly. It's a code of ethics. It was probably so ingrained in them, just like you go, you take, you leave, you take, right? Southern hospitality. You go somewhere, you take a gift. You leave somewhere, they give you one back. It's ingrained. In this instance, God was also the guest. Just another incentive for the code of hospitality. The angel of the Lord, or angels, appeared unexpectedly at different times under the guise of being a stranger. I told you about the meeting that we were having, and the guy came, and he was just really odd, so I felt like I needed to kind of watch out for him. It was a Bible study. It was about 50 people, and he couldn't figure out what a coffee cup was, which was one of my first clues. Plus, he told me something, and I thought, that can't be, because there's only one man in this town that had the name. And he goes, I said, how'd you find us? Because it was a home Bible study. And he goes, oh, I called so-and-so. And I said, really? I'm the one who answers that phone. Oh, maybe it wasn't you I talked to. I'm the only one who answers that phone. So it's just odd, But anyway, couldn't figure out what a coffee cup was, and he ended up with a soup bowl with his coffee in it. But when he left, he asked me lots of questions, and he just walked, and I knew something was different. And when he left, he got to the front window and waved and disappeared. And I knew it was an angel. I'm just like, there was an angel in here? No. There was. We never know. We never know. The code of hospitality needs to be a part of our life. In Revelations 3:20, this is where he goes on to let us know that have any of you ever entertained angels? Have you ever had angels show up and you thought they were people until maybe in the middle of what was going on? Yes? Tell me about it.
It was actually an older woman. I was driving by, I think a couple of my kids were in the car, and this older woman caught my eye. She's carrying bags, and so I turned around. Something told me to turn around and give her a ride. And so I asked her where she was going, and she pointed me in the direction and turned me into a road. She goes, "Oh, you can just stop here." But I knew when I looked back at her to say goodbye, she blessed me and she said, "Thank you." She stood right there. She never moved, just watching me drive away. And then, like split second, when I looked in my rearview mirror, she was gone. And the road, there's nothing hiding the road. I would see her if she had turned to walk towards her home, but she didn't. You know, and my son, who was in the car, said, "You know, you need to be careful. You can't just be picking up people on the road." And I said, "You know, the Bible says that we entertain angels." And I believe that was an angel. And so I thought that was wow.
God's awesome.
That was wow.
God's awesome. Anybody else? Jerome puts his hand up. Jerome had his hand up here like this. And then he's like, "No! Not me!" It's an amazing thing. So in this instance, so we move forward to the New Testament. We see that Jesus was the guest of the world. He came to the world who did not receive him or recognize him. Even after the resurrection, he offered himself as a guest. And that's in Revelations 20 again. He comes as a guest. "Here I am. I stand at the door and knock. If anyone hears my voice and opens the door, I will come in and eat with that person and they with me." He was often a guest as he traveled, and his capacity as a guest was bound to the lost, sharing the table with tax collectors, sinners, and Pharisees. Jesus identified with the needy and with the aliens. But Jesus was also the host. The guest became the host when he fed the 5,000. He made numerous references in the Old Testament revealing his identity while he's feeding them. He's letting them know who he is. This is who I am. He took on the role of the host for the multitude. He is portrayed as being like Yahweh who fed the people in the wilderness, the prophets of Yahweh. He fed the disciples. They had food left over. This is a complete parallel. Foreshadowing in the Old Testament. This is the prophetic part of those scriptures coming to pass. Same thing happened. He is fulfilling those prophecies and showing who he is. And he's doing it through this code of hospitality. He was like David, the shepherd, who cared for his flock in the wilderness. He washed the feet of his disciples at the Last Supper. He led the meal as the host in the natural, identifying with the elements of the Passover meal. And then he presented the symbolism of the elements by offering his body as the bread of affliction that was offered to every hungry and needy person. He associated his blood with the wine, that cup of redemption that we drink from. He stopped the meal before the traditional fourth cup, showing that he will be the host when we drink with him again in the Messianic banquet, celebrating the consummation of God. In the Passover, you have 4 cups. He did not serve the 4th cup. He sent Judas on his way, and he washed the feet, and he told them, this is what's happening, so that they would not miss it. He takes the role of host in the post-resurrection appearances, like when he was sitting on the shore barbecuing some fish, right? He's grilling up some fish. Hey guys, come and eat. Again, the host. Christians are the guests. We're alienated from God and we're invited to respond to Jesus. When we do, we become aliens and strangers in the world. So first we're alienated from God. He shows up with the code of hospitality. We come in. Our eyes are open. Amazing grace. We see his face. We invite him in. Now we don't belong in the world. We never did belong. First we didn't belong with God, now we don't belong in a world. 1 Peter 2:11,